All right, so Rugby League is back. 7 weeks from now is when it looks like it's going to take place. Peter V'landys is the man who is leading the fight back here. He's a good guy and he's exactly the type of sports administrator that I hope inspires all the other people in charge here. We are in a very different place than we were a few weeks ago. This isn't about ripping the Band-Aid off. This is about giving us the bread and circuses. People need something to look forward to in these very, very long weeks, and footy can be it. Supercars can be it.
Playing mainly in the states that we're currently in, we're hoping by the 28th of May that the border restrictions are removed and we go back to some form of normality. That's why we've picked 28th of May. It's 7 weeks away. The infection rate was 22.5% when we suspended the competition. It's only 1.4% today. The governments have done a great job in bringing that infection rate down. So ironically, there's less risk playing now than what there was when we were playing. By the time that May comes around, May 28th, we hope that infection rate is further down. So the players will self-isolate themselves, they'll stay in their natural environments, and as long as they continue to meet the social interaction measures that the government's put forward, that they don't have as much contact with the community and really take care, the risk will be minimal.
So will you be playing in all of the home grounds that currently exist, or to keep the costs down for Fox and for Channel 9, will you be trying to sort of do some double headers in main stadiums in Sydney and Brisbane?
Look, we haven't finalised the competition structure. What we wanted to do was set a commencement date so we had a roadmap to put all the biosecurity measures in place and all the things we have to do, all the discussions we have to have with government. We want to sit down with our broadcast partners to discuss how the competition's going to look. We want to make it as authentic and as credible as possible. So whoever wins the grand final, there's no doubt that they won the best competition that was available, and there's no questions asked.
So it's a shorter competition. Is that because if the competition keeps going past the normal grand final date, you start to slam into some cricket commitments that both Fox and other broadcasters have? Is that the issue on the timing?
That is an issue, and as I said, we want to speak to our broadcast partners. We want to get them engaged in what we wish to do. We want to make sure they're happy, and certainly they've got commitments in certain times of the month. We don't want to go into those, so we want to sit down and have some dialogue and work out that roadmap, and so all parties are happy.
Now, give us an idea here where will all of the players have to stay in quarantine throughout the period of time of the competition, or they'll be going back home, training, playing, or will they all basically be staying in a hotel together and they'll basically be going from one form of togetherness and then leave to play and then return to that togetherness?
No, they'll be staying in their own homes. We want to minimise any inconvenience to the players. We believe if they self-isolate at home, and continue to abide by all the measures that the government puts forward. The proof's in the pudding. There hasn't been an NRL player who's proven positive to the coronavirus to date, and hope that stays that way. So, with the measures they've already undertaken, that there's a little risk of them catching the virus. And you have to put these things into perspective. As long as we do the right things, that there's probably more risk them going to the ground and 1 in 10,000 having a car accident is getting the coronavirus, and we want to make sure that the risk is zero, and we'll put every measure in place to have it that way. And as I said, we will make sure that we will not put the community at risk, and we will not put our players at risk. So that's the challenge for us. We've got 7 weeks to do that, and if the infection rate continues to decrease at the rate it has decreased, I think we can achieve it.
Now, obviously, the only form of revenue that you're going to be getting is the broadcast money. How much money will you lose every week by not being able to sell a ticket, by not being able to fill corporate boxes?
Look, it's in the millions of dollars. Naturally, we'd like to see the crowds come back to our games, but we're realistic. We don't want to take any risks to the community, and we're prepared to play without the crowds. And our main source of revenue is broadcast. So while we continue to get our main source of revenue, we can pay our players, and we can pay the tens of thousands of people that work in our game. It's not just the players; it's many others that are employed.
Even under this model, are there still clubs that are absolutely on the razor's edge about whether they can financially survive?
Look, there's no doubt that the game's cost structure is unsustainable, and it was going to happen at some point. We were going to hit that crisis. It's just the coronavirus has brought it forward. So we're going to have to look at all our costs and make sure that all our clubs survive. We want all our 16 clubs to be there, and we will take every action that we need to, and we'll lead by example at our head office and reduce our expenses and reduce the expenses of the games. The clubs are going to have to reduce their expenses and make it a sustainable model.
You're a busy bloke. You also run racing. Racing has continued all the way through without the crowds. How has that helped guide your decision here about how you're able to have a sport, have it on television, but not have people in the stands?
Look, what racing's done is implemented the harshest biosecurity measures. You're safer at the racecourse than you are in the general community. Now, one of our trainers, Chris Waller, who's our leading trainer, said he felt more safe at Rose Hill than he did at the supermarket. We had a jockey that went to the hospital, and he said there was more biosecurity measures at the racecourse than there was at the hospital. And we take pride in that. Our participants have been fantastic. What they've done is they've abided by every measure we've put in, no matter how strict it is. We've segregated the jockeys at the racecourses. We've kept it to the essential staff on the courses, and we haven't had a problem. I think the less complicated you make it, the better it is.
Last question. To the haters on Twitter or the people who'll be waving their fingers in indignation, why is it important that people get rugby league back?
Because it's our relaxation, it's our escape. We have a tribal following of our sport. Many fans are missing it, and we're loyal to our fans. They've been loyal to us for many years. So if we can bring the sport back with no risk to the community and no risk to the health of our players, I don't know why they would be hating us.